So looking at the Central, starting off number one, Colorado Avalanche. um, I put them there because of who they went out and got. I know they're not going to be with they're going to be without Landeskog for the rest of the season. Um, Hopefully he still has a career in him. Hopefully, but I don't think it resumes this season. But I liked what they went out and got. I liked that they went out and got Tatar. So I still have high hopes for them. I think it's going to be close, but I think Dallas is going to be a close second. Um, and then third, Minnesota. So that shakes out like it did last year in the top three. But only because those are the teams that I think are actually competitive in the Central. Um, Number four, I've got the St. Louis Blues. Yeah, I don't know, man. 4 through 8 is just kind of a crapshoot. And St.
I can
Louis,
get a little more in depth for you in a second, but
yeah,
I
St.
hear you.
Louis, I think at least still has some fight, even if it's not gonna be there every time. Their goaltender certainly has plenty of fight for the nights that he'll be out there. Five, Nashville. Even though they're ones that sort of started selling off, I really, UC Saros is still there. Um, I think they are going to be good enough to land themselves in the middle of the division. Then the Winnipeg Jets, again, good enough to land themselves in that part of the division, but not really do much more. Followed by Arizona Coyotes, and then followed by the Blackhawks because Bedard may go out and score a whole bunch, but uh, like the dead horse we've beat before, he's only got Taylor Hall as a notable line mate. So it's going to be tough to see Chicago do much more. And Chicago fans, it's not bad to be in the bottom of the division for a second year in a row, because you're still going to get good draft picks that help support Bedard. So, you kind of sit down there and you take your beatings in the bottom of your division, bottom of the league for a couple of years, and you're happier in the long run.
Well
I
put.
think that
Yeah.
I think that those are some pretty good shouts, honestly. My not as much as what we just covered with the Atlantic, but for the Central, just like you've seen over the past couple years, you could tell me any order of Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota for 1, 2, and 3, and I will believe you. It's as simple as that. If you told me today, because if you look at last year's rankings, Colorado had 109 points, Dallas had 108, and Minnesota had 103. Dallas looks just as good as they've been, so I don't see them dropping off. Minnesota is developing, so I could see them making a surge and getting the Central title. And Colorado, I like the moves that they've made. Yeah, there's still a bit of there's less of a question mark at the number 2 center position than there was last year going in at this time, because we at least have a guy who's certified that he can play number 2 center as opposed to somebody who we think can, with having Ryan Johansson this year as opposed to JT Comfort. I like some of the other additions that Colorado made with getting Jonathan Drouin. The experiment with getting him with McKinnon, at least preseason wise, looks to be working. We'll see how it works in the regular season. I like it. I like the moves that they made. Cool. So you can tell me Colorado 1, 2, or 3, Dallas 1, 2, or 3, Minnesota 1, 2, or 3. I'll believe you all day. But going outside of 1, 2, or 3, I'm gonna say number 4 on my list is man. I'm gonna say Nashville for me. Number 4, I've got Nashville. I just like Nashville as a team, playing wise, a little bit better than St. Louis. Also, I just hate Jordan Binnington, so he could never make the playoffs again in his life, and I would think that that's great. Throw a bottle at Nazem Kadri one more time, I dare you.
That's right. I don't have St. Louis going to the playoffs. They don't have the little
Yeah,
star.
yeah. Nashville, if there is going to be a wild card rep from the Central, I think it's going to be Nashville this year. Nashville, and then I'm going to say St. Louis. Very much like St. Louis has a decent team. I just don't think that they have an identity quite anymore as they did when they had their cup run in 2018 and 19 season. I don't think that they have that St. Louis identity. They don't have that like wow factor. Granted, that was a Cinderella story team, and I don't see Cinderella showing up at this ball right now. So after St. Louis, I'm going to say at 6, Arizona. I like what Arizona has done developmentally. I think that they're going to take a step forward than 70 points. I don't think you're going to see them be a bottom feeder. They just need to learn how to play away games. If you watch their home and away splits, man, Mullet Arena is magic for the Arizona Coyotes. And if they can just figure out how to play away hockey, they're going to be real good. But still not a playoff team. Number 7, I'm going to put Winnipeg down here. I think that they take a massive step back, and I think you're going to see Hellebuck get traded throughout the season, and they're going to take a massive, massive step back and go into full-on rebuild. And at number 8, I'm going to put Chicago. They're going to be a more competitive team than 59 points gave them this year, but you only have Connor Bedard and you have Taylor Hall, and I guess you can throw Athanasiou in the mix because he's looked really good in preseason, but it's preseason. I don't like what Chicago has yet. They have some really exciting prospects in the fact that they have Connor Bedard. Congratulations. Get some more. Keep staying at the bottom of the league, develop it, and you guys will be back in dynasty mode, no problem.
Well, and their goaltenders are Peter Mrazek and who?
Congratulations. You've just picked 2 random goalies off of NHL 23 franchise mode.
Yeah,
and you have the Chicago Blackhawks.
I don't need to look at the score line to be able to tell you're going to lose. Like, you're gonna get outscored every night.
Your number 1 defenseman is an overpaid Seth Jones. I don't want to hear anything.
Connor Bedard could have over 100 points. I'm not saying he is, but he could have over 100 points, and you're still going to lose every night.
Yeah, honestly, I could see that. I could see him eclipsing 100 and the team getting like 65 points in the rankings.
You know that joke where it's like, and he makes the bucket and he cuts the score from 77 to 50 to 77 to 51.
Yep.
Yeah, so my rankings kind of similar to Adam's, actually. Again, really odd. So I agree wholeheartedly. I can't really say I have a clear-cut winner, 1, 2, or 3. So any pick you want, I have Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota. I think that's pretty well cut. Number 4, I also have Nashville, which I think just because UC Saros and Philip Forsberg should be better. And the Holy Roman Empire. I wanted to make this title the Holy Roman Empire, and I'm glad I found a way to fit them in there. Number 5, I actually have the Yotes. I think they're a wagon. I think they've got just enough of that chutzpah to get them through. Logan Cooley's going to be good. Vejmelka's a good goalie. They've got the emergence of some defense. We'll see if JJ Moser can keep it up. I think they might sneak in. I'm not saying it's a sure thing, but I could see them sneaking into a 5 spot. St. Louis, I do see taking a dramatic drop-off. I just don't think their goaltending is good enough, and they're just getting older. They really didn't do a whole heck of a lot. So kind of the shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic, if you ask me. I have Winnipeg in 7th. I just, like Adam said, they're going to trade Hellebuck at some point, presumably. And if they don't,
they're going to lose him anyway.
They're going to lose him anyway. So, and same thing with Scheifele. So I don't know. I don't like what they have as is, and it's only going to get worse. And then it's Chicago. I mean, I'm not going to go any further on that. So we can just flip the page.
Yep.